A very good morning to all of you. This is a video for the students of class 8 subject science. We were studying chapter number 16, that is light. This is your lecture number 3. Students, today we will discuss all the NCERT questions. So let's start with question number 1. Question number 1 is, suppose you are in a dark room. Can you see objects in the room? Can you see objects outside the room? Explain. So answer is, in a dark room, there is no light in that room. So if there is no light, so no light reflects from objects and thus do not become visible to our eyes, because any object is visible to us because of the reflection. So if there is no light, then it will not reflect from the objects and we do not see the objects. Okay, we can't see the objects. An object becomes visible when light reflects from the objects, and after being reflected, it reaches to our eyes and thus we can see the objects. But outside the room, there is a presence of light. So if there is light, then it reflects from the object and reaches to our eyes. Thus, we can see the object outside the room. Now, second question is, differentiate between regular and diffused reflection. Diffused reflection means irregular reflection. So, regular reflection caused by polished surface and smooth surface means the reflection caused by polished surface and smooth surface is called regular reflection. Whether the reflection caused by rough surface is called irregular reflection. In case of regular reflection, the reflected rays are parallel to each other. And in case of diffused reflection, the reflected rays are not parallel to each other. Now these two ray diagram is showing regular reflection and diffused reflection. This is a smooth surface on which beam of light falls parallelly, and when it falls after striking, it reflects parallelly, means the reflected rays are parallel to each other. But when the light rays fall on the rough surface, then the reflected rays are not parallel to each other. Okay. Now third question is, mention against each of the following whether regular or diffused reflection will take place when a beam of light strikes, and justify your answer in each case. Means you have to write whether regular reflection occur or diffuse reflection occur and justify your answer. So first is polished wooden table. So in case of polished wooden table, regular reflection takes place, okay, when a beam of light strikes on polished wooden table. It has smooth and polished surface. It means there is not any irregularities. That's why regular reflection will takes place. Now B part is chalk powder. So when the light rays falls on chalk powder, then diffused or we can say irregular reflection takes place. Why? Because it has small pores in it that makes the surface very rough. Okay, that's why diffused or irregular reflection takes place. Now next is cardboard surface. So when the light rays falls on the cardboard surface, then diffused reflection takes place because it has irregularities that makes the surface very rough. That's why diffused reflection takes place. D part is marble floor with water spread over it. So when a beam of light strikes on a marble floor on which water spread, then regular reflection takes place. Why? Because water acts as a layer on a marble floor and that makes the floor smooth. Okay, so that makes the smooth and polished surface on it. That's why regular reflection takes place. Next is mirror, means what type of reflection occur when beam of light strikes on a mirror. So when a beam of light strikes on a mirror, then regular reflection takes place because mirror have a coating of thin film of metal such as silver that makes the surface smooth, okay, and polished. That's why regular reflection takes place. Next is piece of paper. So when a beam of light strikes on a pieces of paper, then diffuse reflection takes place. Means diffuse reflection takes place when a beam of light strikes on a piece of paper. Okay, right here paper. Now question number 4 is state the laws of reflection. So there are two laws of reflection. First is angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. Okay. So first law is angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. Second law is according to second law of reflection, the incident ray, the normal ray and the reflected ray all lie on the same plane. So these are the laws of reflection. Now question number 5 is describe an activity to show that the incident ray, the reflected ray and the normal at point of incidence lie in the same planes. Means we have to prove the second law of reflection. Okay. So aim of this activity is to show that incident ray, reflected ray and normal all lie in the same plane. And for proving material required are torch, means a source of light, plain mirror, white sheet of paper and a table. So the method is take a sheet of paper and make a small hole in its center and hold it normal or perpendicular to the table. Means take a sheet of paper and make a small hole in the center. Okay, and hold it perpendicularly to the table. Means hold the sheet, okay, in such a way that it is perpendicular to the table. And the plain mirror is taken and placed perpendicular to the table. Means we also take a plain mirror, okay, and place perpendicular to the table. Now torch a light through that small hole. Means pass the light through small hole. So a light ray falls on the plain mirror and bounces back, or we can say reflects back from it in a certain direction. Means it goes in a certain direction. Then a line between these two rays. Which two rays? Means the light ray which falls on the mirror and the light ray which reflects from the mirror. Okay, so the line which is in between these two rays, okay, that is perpendicular to the mirror, that is normal ray. So we will observe that all these light rays, means the ray which falls on the mirror, the ray which reflects and the ray which is in between incident ray and reflected ray, lie on the surface of white sheet of paper. Okay, suppose if we cut the portion of that normal ray and bend the paper, we observe that the reflected ray, incident ray are on the different surfaces of paper. That is not possible. Okay, so this shows that the incident ray, reflected ray and normal all lie in the same plane. Question number 6 is fill in the blanks in the following. A part is a person 1 meter in front of a plain mirror. Means a person is standing 1 meter away from the plain mirror seems to be dash meter away from his image. Means you have to calculate the distance of the person from his image. Okay, now we know that the distance of object from the mirror and the distance of image from the mirror will be same. Okay, now suppose, see here, this is a mirror. Okay, and you are standing here, means 1 meter away from the mirror. Okay, then your image will also form 1 meter away. Okay, here image will form, means 1 meter away. So you have to find the distance of the person from his image. Means what is the distance of the person from his image? So means you have to calculate this distance. So this distance will be 1 plus 1 means 2 meter. So answer is, a person 1 meter in front of a plane mirror seems to be 2 meter. Seems to be 2 meter away from his image. Now B part is, if you touch your dash ear with right hand in front of a plane mirror, it will be seen in the mirror that your right ear is touched with dash. So if you touch your left ear with right hand in front of a plane mirror, it will be seen in the mirror that your right ear is touched with right hand. And it is because of lateral inversion. Because plane mirror always form in laterally inverted image. Okay. Next part is, the size of pupil becomes dash when you see in dim light. So in dim light, the iris change the size of pupil and the size of pupil becomes large. Okay. Next part is, night birds have dash cones than rods in their eyes. So night birds have less cones. Okay, they have less cones than rods in their eyes. Now question number 7. Angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. Options are always, sometimes, under special conditions, never. So angle of incidence is always equal to angle of reflection. Okay, it is applicable for all types of surfaces. Okay, angle of incidence is always equal to angle of reflection. Now question number 8 is, image formed by a plane mirror is, options are virtual, behind the mirror, and enlarged. No, because image formed by a plane mirror is virtual, means it cannot be obtained on a screen, and it always formed behind the mirror, and the size of the image is same as the size of the object. So image size is same as that of object. So option B is correct. Now question number 9 is, describe the construction of kaleidoscope. So answer is, kaleidoscope is a device that produces different patterns and it operates on the principle of multiple reflection. The setting of the mirrors at an angle of 60 degree so that they form a triangle. Now construction is, first step is, take 3 rectangular mirrors. This is first mirror and behind this second mirror and this is third mirror. Okay. So take 3 rectangular mirrors are joined together to form a triangular prism. Okay. Take 3 mirror, first mirror, behind this second mirror and at the base third mirror. Okay. And join in such a way that it forms a triangular prism. Now take a circular cardboard in cylinder form. it should be slightly longer than triangular prism. Okay, it is a cylindrical cardboard and the length of this cardboard should be greater than the triangular prism that we have made in the first step. Now after that, take the given prism fixed in a circular cardboard. Means fix that prism into this circular cardboard. Then it will appear like this. Now this circular tube is closed from its one end with a cardboard disc. This plane mirror circular plate should be touched to the prism. And after that, take few small pieces of colored glass like bangles and placed inside the glass prism. It is observed that when we see inside it through that hole, we see that these small colored pieces are reflecting and forms multiple images in it, which make different pattern. So in this way, you can make a kaleidoscope which produces beautiful patterns. Now question number 10 is, draw a labeled sketch of the human eye. So first of all, we will study about the human eye and their parts, and after that we will draw a diagram. So eyes help us to see things in which eyeball is present, and means eye consists of an eyeball that is nearly spherical in shape, and the eyeball is kept filmed by a jelly-like substance called the aqueous humor, which is present in front of the lens, and the jelly-like substance which is present behind the lens is called vitreous humor. Now, the different parts of eye are, first is sclera. It is the outermost covering of the eye that is made up of white fibrous tissue, and the function is it protects the internal parts of the eye. Second is cornea. It is the transparent portion of the eye, and function is it protects the eyes and also helps in focusing light. Next part is iris. The colored part of the eye behind the cornea is called iris, and it controls the amount of light entering the eye by adjusting the size of the pupil. And what is pupil? Pupil is the tiny hole in the center of iris. Next part is lens. A transparent double convex lens lies behind the iris. It is held at its position by the ciliary muscles, which can change the thickness of the lens. Function is the lens focuses light to form an image on the retina. Means image will form on retina. So what is retina? The retina acts as a screen on which image is formed. It has light sensitive receptors called rods and cones. Cones are sensitive to color and rods are sensitive to intensity of light. Now you have to write working of eye also, means how eye works. So light rays coming from an object enter the eye through the pupil. After that, lens focuses the light rays coming from the object and form inverted image on the retina. The rods and cones of the retina get activated and generate electrical signals which are sent to the brain by the optic nerve. The image of an object formed on the retina is smaller than the object and is inverted. After that, the brain interprets the image as being erect, means the brain changes the inverted image into erect image, and it also changes the size. Okay, means the brain interprets the image as being erect and of correct size. Now this is the diagram of eye. Okay, and you have to write labeling also. Okay, means write the parts of eye also. So draw this diagram in your notebook. Now question number 11 is, Gurmeet wanted to perform activity 16.8 using a laser torch. This activity is given in your book. Her teacher advised her not to do so. Can you explain the basis of teacher's advice? So answer is, the teacher advised not to use the laser torch. A laser torch has light of very high intensity. When laser light of high intensity and wavelength falls on eye directly, then the retina absorbs its light. Means the light will go in the retina and heats slowly and slowly the part of a retina that contains pigments, and these pigments absorbs its light, means absorb laser light, and seems to be dark everywhere. And retina is a tissue that lies the back of a eye, that lies the back of a eye that capture the image, means on which image is formed. So the human eye forms the image of an object at its retina. Retina is the back surface of the eye containing a light sensitive cells that convert the light which received from the nerve impulses to the brain along the optic nerve. Means the reason is it affects to our eyes because retina will observe the laser light. This is the reason the teacher advised her to not to do so. So read this activity from your book. Now question number 12 is, explain how you can take care of your eyes. So some of the ways by which we can take care of our eyes are, first is, wash your eyes frequently with clean water. Do not read in very dim or very bright light. Do not read in a moving vehicle. Do not rub your eyes with dirty hands. If you feel strain in the eyes or any pain in the eyes, then visit a doctor and get your eyes checked. And include vitamin A in your diet. So these are the ways by which we can take care of our eyes. Now question number 13 is, what is the angle of incidence of a ray if the reflected ray is at angle of 90 degree to the incident ray? Means reflected ray makes an angle of 90 degree with the incident ray, and you have to find the angle of incident. So if we draw the diagram, then it will be like this. So it means what? The reflected ray makes 90 degree angle with the incident ray. Means this angle is 90 degree. Okay, this complete angle is 90 degree. So it means what? The angle of incidence means this angle, and angle of reflection. Okay, the sum of angle of incidence and angle of reflection is 90 degree. Okay, so we can write angle I plus angle R is equal to 90 degree, and according to first law of reflection, angle of incidence always equal to angle of reflection. It means what? Angle I is equal to angle R. So if we means from this, we can write angle I in place of angle R, because angle I is equal to angle R. So here we can write angle I plus angle I. Okay, we can write angle I in place of angle R. So angle I plus angle I is equal to 90 degree. So when you solve it, means if angle I plus angle I will become equal to 2 of angle I, which is equal to 90 degree. Here 2 is in multiplication. So when we move it to right side, then it comes in divide. So angle I is equal to 90 upon 2. So if we divide it, then we will get 45 degree. So angle I means angle of incidence will be equal to 45 degree. So in this way you can calculate, you can find the angle of incidence. Now question number 14 is, how many images of a candle will be formed if it is placed between two parallel plane mirrors separated by 40 centimeter? Okay, means we have to find the number of images formed, but these means the mirrors are placed parallelly. Okay, they are parallel to each other. So if the mirrors are parallel to each other, then infinite or multiple images will be formed because of multiple reflections. Okay, so infinite or multiple images will be formed because of multiple reflection between the mirrors. When we place two mirrors parallelly, then multiple images form. When two mirrors are placed parallel to each other, then infinite number of images are formed. Now question number 15 is two mirrors met at right angles. Means these are two mirrors, okay, which are at right angle to each other. Means here the angle is 90 degree, okay, they are at right angle to each other. A ray of light is incident on one at an angle of 30 degree. This is a ray of light which incident on this mirror. Suppose this is a first mirror. Okay, this is a first mirror. So a ray of light falls on the first mirror by making an angle of 30 degree. Now draw the reflected ray from the second mirror. Okay, means we have to draw the reflected ray from the second mirror. Suppose this is our second mirror. Okay, so now we will draw the reflected ray. Okay, so when a ray of light is incident on the first mirror, then it reflected back, means it reflects back in a certain direction. Okay, like this. It reflects back in certain direction. Okay, and also makes an angle of 30 degree. Why? Because of first law of reflection, that angle of incidence always equal to angle of reflection. And after that, when this reflected ray falls on the second mirror, then it again reflects from the second mirror. Okay, means because now this reflected ray is the incident ray for this second mirror. Okay, so when it falls on the second mirror, then again it's reflect in this way. Like this. Okay, and if we draw a normal for the second mirror, then it will be like this. This is the normal for the second mirror named as N2, and this is normal for first mirror N1. Now see here, a ray of light incident on the first mirror makes an angle of 30 degree with the normal ray. Okay, means this is the angle of incidence. Okay, and we know that the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. So the angle of reflection is also equal to 30 degree. Thus the total angle formed by reflected ray with the incident ray is the sum of angle of incidence and angle of reflection. Means 30 plus 30, 60 degree. So the reflected ray for the first mirror, that becomes incident ray for the second mirror, forms an angle of 60 degree. Because this complete angle is 60 degree and this ray is the incident ray for the second mirror. That's why it also makes 60 degree angle with the second mirror. Okay, and this incident ray for the second mirror falls on it and bounces back and goes in a particular direction. And we know that if this is a incident ray for the second mirror, so the angle of incidence is 60 degree. So the angle of reflection for the second mirror is also equal to 60 degree. Okay, means we can also calculate the angle of reflected ray, means the angle of the ray which reflects from the second mirror. So how can you explain it? Two mirrors are kept perpendicular to each other. A ray of light is incident on first mirror. It reflects in a certain direction and touches the second mirror. And when this ray strikes to the second mirror, then it again reflects and goes into another direction. Okay, this is the explanation. And you have to draw this ray diagram in your notebook. Now question number 16 is, Bujo stands at A, means at point A, just on the side of a plane mirror. This is the plane mirror as shown in the figure. Can he see himself in the mirror? Means can Bujo see himself in the mirror? Because he is on the side of a plane mirror. And also, can he see the image of object situated at point PQR? Means some objects are on these points PQR. So can he see the image of the objects? So answer is, a plane mirror forms a virtual image behind the mirror. The image is as far behind the mirror as the object in front of it. A person cannot see his image because the length of the mirror is too short. Okay. So a person cannot see his image because the length of the mirror is too short on his side. However, he can see the objects placed at point PQ but cannot see the object placed at point R. Okay. Now question number 17 is, in the figure, this is a mirror A, B and C. Okay. Find out the position of the image of an object situated at A. Means our object is at point A. Okay. Means here. Okay. So find out the position of the image of an object situated at A in the plane mirror. B part is, can Paheli at B see this image? Means Paheli at this position. Okay. Can he see this image? C part is, can Bujo, which is at point C, see this image? D part is, when Paheli moves from B to C. Okay. When Paheli moves from B to C, means from here to here, from B to C, where does the image of A move? Okay, this is the question. Now answer is, so for finding out the position of the image of an object which is at point A, we draw a ray diagram. So means at this point object is situated. So a light ray falls on the mirror and it reflects in this direction. Okay, means Paheli is at point B. Okay, so it also goes towards point B, and another ray falls on the mirror and it reflects towards point C. Okay, and at point C there is Bujo. Okay, so when we extend these reflected ray backwards, then these two reflected rays met at a point, means at this point at which image is formed. Okay, it means what? From this ray diagram we can say that the Paheli, which is at point B, and Bujo, which is at point C, can see the image of the object. Okay, so can Paheli at B see this image? Yes. Okay, can Bujo at C see this image? Yes. And when Paheli moves from B to C, where does the image of A move? The image of the object will not move. Why? Because the ray reflects in a particular direction. Okay. So when Paheli moves from B to C, the image of A will not move. So answer is, can Paheli see the image? Yes. Bujo can also see the image, and the image of A will not move. Now we will discuss the homework solution of previous lecture. See, question number 1 and 2, I have explained these two answers. Okay, in the questions, like there are questions, NCERT question that explain the parts of eye and their diagram, and this question is also given in NCERT that lists some ways by which you can protect your eyes. So now third question is, what do you mean by dispersion of light? So the phenomenon of splitting white light into its constituent colors is called dispersion of light. Okay. Now next question was define myopia and hypermetropia, and question number 5 is what is cataract. So answer is, what is myopia? Some people can see only nearby objects clearly but are not able to see distant objects clearly. This defect is called myopia or short-sightedness. And what is hypermetropia? Some people can see only distant objects clearly but cannot see nearby objects clearly. This defect of vision is called long-sightedness or hypermetropia. Now answer number 5 is that what is cataract? Answer is the medical condition in which the lens of the eye of a person becomes cloudy, resulting in blurred vision. This is called cataract. Students, your today's homework is learn and write all the NCERT questions in fair notebook. Okay. So this ends for today's lecture. Thank you.